good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine Pummel. I'm a volunteer of the NAMIC SoCal chapter. On behalf of the NAMIC SoCal board, we want to welcome you and thank you for joining us as we continue to honor diversity in media with today's event, Tools to Thrive Through During Tough Times. We encourage you to ask questions throughout the event. Please use the Q&A function to submit your questions and we'll do our best to get them all answered. First, a little bit about NAMIC. NAMIC, the National Association for Multi-Ethnicity in Communications, for 40 years has been dedicated to educate, advocate, and empower for multi-ethnic diversity in the media and entertainment industry. Success stems from the ability to provide the resources that allow media companies to activate diversity, inclusion, and equity programs within their organization and for our members to cultivate their individual careers. I welcome you to check out our website at namic.com and social channels for more information and to learn more about our upcoming events. Before we begin, I'd like to share some background information about Diane, who will be leading our session today. Diane Short holds a bachelor's degree with an emphasis in psychology from Antioch University and is the author of Ladies Operating Very Effectively, Love, Finding Power to Change Your World. She is also the creator and producer of the Love Awards, a Los Angeles community-based awards the Los Angeles Community-Based Awards show that annually honors extraordinary women and men whose lives inspire and impact the world. Throughout her organization, Ladies Operating Very Effectively, Diane has coached and mentored hundreds of women through workshops and seminars in the areas of finance, health and wellness, relationships, public speaking, and life skills training. With a passion for volunteerism, mentoring, and coaching, she has provided volunteer and mentoring services for many nonprofit organizations, such as A Place Called Home, City of Angels Ballet, Diamond in the Raw Foundation, Little Miss African American Scholarship Pageant, Know Better to Do Better, and Operation Hope. Diane hones her speaking skills at Fox Talks and Next Century Toastmasters Club, where she holds the title of past president and is an advanced Toastmaster bronze member. She is the former president of the board of directors of Diamond in the Raw, a nonprofit organization devoted to empowering at-risk and foster care girls between the ages of 12 and 18. In 2008, she was named a Woman of Achievement by the Century City Chamber of Commerce and received the 2018-2019 Pink Diamond Award from the Diamond in the Raw Foundation. Diane is also a professional dancer and has performed with the WNBA Los Angeles Sparks dance team, the Old School Crew. She has appeared in videos with Janet Jackson, Quincy Jones, Donny Osmond, and Howard Hewitt. As founder and CEO of Simply Samba Entertainment, she has created a client list of Hollywood's who's who. Diane has made appearances in her capacity as a reigning beauty queen, Miss Positivity, Miss Black America, Miss East Palo Alto, Miss Cool KDIA, and Miss California Los Angeles. In addition, Diane has enjoyed a career as a legal professional for over 25 years and is a leadership development coach for a major media company. Diane, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm passing the torch over to you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Mental Health Month. Oh my God. One thing I must say, when you hear your life, when someone reads your story, it is just like, who are they talking about? Are they talking about me? And it's just really apropos that I felt that feeling because this talk today is about self-love, utilizing tools to help us to be resilient, to allow ourselves to be healthy mentally. So many of us, we don't think about our mental health, and it's so imperative, especially now. The pandemic has created sort of a perfect storm for a lot of people. Our relationships have been impacted. Our families have been impacted. Our parenting has been impacted. So many things have been impacted. So today, I'd like to share with you my idea of self-love tools for mental health. I created this acronym, and if anyone is on here who knows me, you know I love acronyms. So let's get started. The first one, simplify your life. Okay, now I want you to also recognize that these tips and tools are tips and tools that I myself also will use. So if anyone is here who knows me, just know I too am working on all of these tips and tools. Slow down, spend time with friends and family, pare down your activities. And there's something that I forgot that is so important to simplify our lives. Take time to play and have fun. It's okay. It's okay to go to work, have a hard day, come home and just play. It's so important. It really will strengthen you when you struggle during hard times. Another really good thing to do, put on some music and dance in your space. Dance like nobody's watching and that nobody cares. That is so important. Simplify. This day and age, so many of us are so busy. We have about, on average, 2 to 3 jobs going, all of us. And we have goals and we're in school and we have children. And so we have to learn to simplify so that we are not too stressed out, particularly during this time, because the uncertainty of health and the economy and so many things that are going on in the world has a tendency to really cause us to be very stressed out. So those are some tips and tools that you can use to just simplify, just pare down. Next slide, please. Identify, eliminate toxic situations. This is so important, and most of us know what toxic situations look like. So I have just listed here, identify the toxicity and pay attention to how you feel. All situations and everything that you're involved in should give you a feeling. You want to make sure that everything that you do, situations that you put yourself in, make you feel good. And if it doesn't, identify what's causing me to not feel good and eliminate it. Very simple. Next slide, please. Okay, live in the present. This is so important because if you are a type A, or if you are someone who loves to plan for the future, like myself, living in the present is something that you really need to do. I just recently met someone who helped me understand the difference between setting a goal and intentions. And I have changed my life, daily life, to really be more intentional. So let's play a game. Since it's lunchtime, let's just play a little game. So it's a grounding technique. The instructions are right here. So what I want you to do, and I want you to let me know in the chat how you're feeling, if you actually did the exercise, and how it can help you in the future. So this is how it goes. So first you're going to count back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you're going to count 5 things that you see to yourself, 4 things that you hear, 3 things you touch, 2 things that you smell, and 1 thing that you taste. This helps to bring your awareness back to the present, and it gets you out of your head. So many times we are in our heads and we cannot really focus on what's really going on because we're thinking about what we did yesterday and what we're going to do tomorrow. And so this grounding exercise will help you. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to just do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, did you guys participate? How did that feel? Were you able to do it? Were you able to step out of yourself and actually bring yourself back to the present? This is not an easy exercise. We have so much going on in our heads and in our minds, and particularly we're in a pandemic. So many of us have started taking what's going on in the world because we're watching the news and we are looking at our own lives. We're uncertain. We're not sure whether to take whether to get the vaccine or not get the vaccine. All of these things causes our minds to just swirl around. And I want to give you one other tip that will help you be more present. And it's making a list of things that you're grateful for. Gratitude is a centering tool like none other. Because when you stop and think about the greatness that exists in your life, it is amazing. Okay, it looks like we have, someone's chat is disabled. Because I would love to answer your question. So, make a list of things you're grateful for. Why don't you do that right now? Just make a list of 3 things that you're grateful for and share it with me in the chat. Or basically for you, it probably would be the Q&A because I think the chat is disabled for you. So you can put your response in the Q&A. 3 things you're grateful for. I guarantee you that you will begin to feel considerably more centered and grounded because it's very difficult to be grateful and angry or grateful and fearful and grateful and any of the other feelings that we are experiencing during this time of the pandemic. Okay, so someone is grateful for health, family, and time. That is exactly how I feel about what we're experiencing now, and so many others. When you are grounded in your health, in your family, and the fact that you have time, it is a beautiful grounding, and it is a perfect way to live in the moment. Next slide, please. Face your feelings. This is a way to really show self-love for yourself. Because what it's doing is it's informing you that what you feel matters. There's a couple of ways that you can do this. Accepting who you are, all of your idiosyncrasies. Or you can actually do an exercise where there's a stream of consciousness when you write out what you're having trouble with. It's really funny. The other day, I was cleaning the house and I thought to myself, you have the strangest way of cleaning the house. It is idiosyncratic in that if someone were watching me clean the house, they would be really confused. You just started in the bedroom, Diane, and then you went into the kitchen to take the glass from the bedroom, and then you started washing the dishes. And then I'll go to the bathroom, and then I'll start cleaning the bathroom. Even for me, it's kind of weird and annoying. However, it's effective and it's who I am. And you may feel the same way about some of the things that you do and maybe not feel really good about yourself, but it's so important that you feel your feelings, any little feeling that you have about who you are, because you want to make sure that you are accepting of yourself, even before you want anyone else to accept yourself. So let's try another little quick exercise. What are 3 things that you could write about that you might be having trouble with right now because of the pandemic? It could be finances. It could be your relationship. It could be being a teacher for your children and you're not a teacher. Write 3 of those things and send those to me in the Q&As. Next slide. Letting go of the past. Before I talk about letting go of the past, what I want to make sure that you understand what we're doing right now, we are taking care of and looking at tips and tools to thrive during tough times, not just survive, to thrive, to really show up for yourself in a way that says, yes, this is the most opportune time in life, but yet I can still show up for myself. I can still be there. I can still live my best life, however the circumstances may be. Letting go of past pain. I'm going to share a little secret with you guys. I used to have an exercise that I would do. It wasn't intended as an exercise. What started is I was a very sensitive child. And so whenever someone would hurt my feeling or disappoint me, I would be very, very hurt. What I started doing, and when I look back now, it probably has informed the woman that I am and the way that I operate in life. So what I would do if someone hurt me or disappointed me, I would do something good for myself. I would clean out my closet. I would have a party. I would go to school, go back to school. I went back to school to get my AA in my 30s after a breakup of a relationship. I got into a habit of doing this for so many years, and I didn't really think about it until I started working on this PowerPoint. And so it was a coping mechanism for me. It was a way that I was able to show up for myself, even when no one else could show up for me. So let's talk about letting go of pain. Forgiveness. It's the most important part of letting go of pain is forgiveness. Also, learning a technique to focus on your breath, to be able to allow yourself to breathe through the pain and the suffering that you might be feeling is so powerful. Because what you might notice is that whenever you're feeling pain, you're not breathing. You stop breathing and you are not allowing the breath to move through you. When you allow breath to move slowly, to flow freely through your body, you can't help but relax. It's just a natural part of the way the body is made up. So practice breathing. Let's do that for just 1 minute. Just take a deep breath. Yes. Doesn't that feel better? You hear my voice? My voice got lower. The breath will literally soothe the mind. It soothes the body. And it's so important for being able to let go of past pain. Let's move to the next slide, please. Open your heart to change. This is so important. As we get older, we tend to sort of close ourselves off and we don't want to change. We get set in our ways. This is actually the opposite of what you can do to help yourself, to love yourself, to allow yourself to enjoy healthy mental health. Open your heart to change, changing the way you've thought about something, changing the way you've gone about behaviors, changing relationships that you've established, changing yourself. One of the things that you can always know in any end of any relationship is that the common denominator in that relationship was you. And so I've often thought that at the end of every relationship, I think that everyone should stop and say, what did I contribute to the ending of that relationship? And therefore, as you move to the next relationship, at least you have admitted to yourself, you've opened yourself up to healing, to growth, and to be able to move into another relationship much more healthy. So how can you open your heart to change? Take a break. Change your pace is good. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Join a support group to help you make changes in your life, and find a counselor. Counseling is key for healing. If you've had past pains that you've never resolved, please seek counseling. It will save your life, your marriage, all of your relationships, and it will make you a better parent. I'd just like to share with you some of the responses in the Q&A. Someone says, if I forgive but not forget, does that defeat the purpose? I don't want them in my life anymore, but I'm letting go of the pain that they gave me. That's key, because I've often heard many people say, I can forgive, but I can't forget. Well, you may not forget the insult or the injury. However, if you let go of the desire to even hold on to the memory of it, it will facilitate the forgiveness. It doesn't mean that you need to continue a relationship or that you need to make it okay what happened. But if you forget it, then you no longer have to even worry about the issue that was that happened. Just forget it. There's one thing that I can probably say about being married. The more you forget, the better your marriage will be. Remembering past insults, conversations that didn't go your way, slights that your partner has made, those need to be forgotten so that you can move on. And it is so healthy to forgive others and to know that not only will you not be remembering what they did, it won't bother you, because more often than not, things that we hold on to are not impacting anybody else but us. So, yes, such a good reminder, Steph says. She needed that. Thank you so much, Steph. Enrique says, organize priorities and thoughts. Yes, absolutely. So true. Let's move to the next slide. Thank you for those of you who are participating. It's so important to have feedback, especially when you can't see anyone. Okay, I love this. Visualize yourself happy. I've been doing this for years. I love visualizing myself happy. Happy is so key. Can you guys tell me in the chat, how many of you are really, really happy right now? I would really like to know. There's 22 people here. And who's happy? And if you're not happy, who's not happy? Because if not, we're going to visualize you happy today, right now. We'll get you happy. Oh, okay, they're coming in. Let's see. Okay. Yes, let's see. Okay. Yes. Happy. Yes. Good and getting gooder. I love it. Oh my God, we've got some happy people on the line. Yes. And for those of you who are not as happy as those who just responded, here's an exercise you might want to try. It's a simple visualization exercise to get out of your head and into your feelings. This seems to be a place in our head that seems to be problematic for our mental health. Interesting that our heads are what's causing our problems with mental health. I remember a joke that a comedian used once at a comedy show. She said that her head was like a bad neighborhood that she needed to stay out of. I thought that was hilarious, and I never forgot it, because that's exactly what can happen sometimes. We are so much into our head that we're not in our feelings, and when you're not in your feelings, you're missing out on really what's happening. So let's do this. Do you guys want to do the exercise? Yeah, you do. Okay. So take a few deep breaths and bring a negative thought into your mind. Any negative thought. Let me see. I will use, I'm not going to be able to get my workout in tomorrow. So see the negative thought in the front of your mind. And when you get it there, imagine a fire that's burning in the sky, right behind that negative thought. Now, throw that thought into the fire. Just throw it off. Throw it into the fire. Let it go. Now that you've got that negative thought into the fire is just going to go out. It's just that simple. Practice taking negative thoughts that don't help you move forward, fearful thoughts, put them in the fire and let them burn in the fire. This can help you recognize an important distinction between you and your thoughts. You're not your thoughts, and you can choose to separate from a thought anytime you want. And I know this to be true because I've used this exercise quite often. Next slide, please. A healthy, balanced diet. Okay, this is a challenge for us all. But how does diet play into loving yourself and mental health? Well, it plays a huge role in our mental health because the relationship between food and health and your mind, they're all interwoven. And so it's important that you eat a healthy diet. Fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, dairy products, fish, and plenty of water. They say that you should probably drink your body weight in ounces, I guess a percentage of your body weight in ounces. So for me, I weigh bleep. And so I'm going to drink about 60 ounces of water daily. You notice I didn't tell you how much I weigh. Eat well for good health. Here's the foods on your left will boost your mental health, and the foods on your right worsen your mental health. So we'll leave that up for a short period of time. And okay, yes, I love these responses. Oh, yes, yes, absolutely. I'm reading the responses and they are amazing. Oh, someone brought up something that's really interesting that we'll talk about. Okay, let's move to the slide and now come back to the chats. Mindfulness. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to focus on what's going on right now and to be comfortable with whatever that is. Next slide, please. Here's an exercise for you to try when you wake up. Sit up in your bed, get in a relaxed position, close your eyes, and connect with the sensations of your body. Make sure your spine is straight, not rigid. Take deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, and then set your intentions. Earlier, I spoke about intentions. I'm typically the type of person who sets goals. I will write down a goal, have a long laundry list of things to do, and check off the box. However, those are not intentions. I just learned intentions, or how do you want to show up at the end of the day? What do you want to feel when you end your day? Do you want to feel peaceful? Do you want to feel gratitude? Do you want to feel at ease? These are intentions. Your intentions should allow you to go through your day, and that no matter what happens within the day, whether you achieve the goal, whether you check off the item off the list, you will end up at the end of the day feeling the way you want to feel. And I can attest to this because I've been trying it for the last 3 weeks, and it literally works. My intention is really what's guiding my behavior. So when I show up at the office, my intention is typically to end up at home, very peaceful and very happy and content. So when I get to my job, I do the work, whatever I have to experience, I experience it. But my intention is to feel whatever I want to feel. I'm just going to go through whatever I have to go through, but my intention is going to remain the same. And it works, you guys. Trust me. Try it. It really works. Set an intention before you set your things to do, because it will almost inform your things to do. Also, check in with yourself throughout the day. Mindful eating. No, probably nobody on this call does this. This is so difficult for us. I don't know why mindful eating is so difficult for everyone. So if you think about mindful eating, breathe, listen to your body as you're eating, then you eat the food, you practice peaceful eating, or don't eat. Very simple. But what this does is it allows you, again, to just bring yourself back to the moment, being peaceful and at ease where you are with what you're doing. This is very healthy mental health. Next slide, please. Rewire your brain. The majority of our behavior runs on autopilot. Mindfulness is the exact opposite of these processes. It's executive control rather than autopilot. It enables intentional actions, willpower, and decisions. How can we trigger ourselves to be mindful when we need it most? Slow down, removing obstacles in the path of the slow brain so it can gain control. In the chat, send me a response to this question. What obstacle is in my way of me being mindful daily? How can I rewire my brain to let this thing move from being on autopilot to being in my control? And I'll use a good example, probably sometimes not exercising. Sometimes we get in the habit of not working out, and it's not that we don't want to work out. It's just that we've gotten on autopilot in our behaviors. We wake up, we eat breakfast, we move on throughout the day. Oh, I didn't work out today. And then 6 weeks later, the same thing happened. You went on autopilot. And it also works in the reverse. Those of you who work out probably know this as well. Once you get in the habit of exercising and doing the things that you need to do for your body, you go on autopilot. You wake up every day. I'm on autopilot when it comes to my workouts. Every day I wake up, I have to work out. It's because I have now made it a habit. And habits are wonderful for mindfulness because it allows you to do the things that are healthy for you in a mindful way. Let's move to the next slide. Mindful workout. Woo-woo! Who can do this mindful workout? Activate your mind and your muscles. So the next time you guys work out, be mindful. Don't get on the treadmill with the television and Netflix on. Just get on the treadmill and work out. Feel your muscles getting the workout. Feel the sweat coming down. Really be mindful. It'll be a different workout and you will feel really, really good. And you'll see the difference between just getting a workout in and working out with a mindset and a mindfulness to it. So warm up, it says, settle into a rhythm, then challenge yourself, then cool down and rest. But the key I want you to really get is to the mindfulness. And I think that mindfulness for this whole talk today, if anything, I would like you to take away, it's mindfulness. Be mindful about how you feel, your feelings, mindful about your body, mindful about your family, mindful about everything. My husband and I went to an event once, and the exercise that they had the couples do was to look into each other's eyes, and all the couples were so uncomfortable. Mind you, we're married, okay? We're having problems looking at each other's eyes in a mindful moment. And so that was what she called it, the mindful moment. So now my husband and I, every now and then we'll stop and we'll say, let's take a mindful moment. It is really amazing what happens when you stop and reconnect in something just as simple as looking in each other's eyes. So that's your homework assignment today. I want all of the married couples, all of the married people to go home and have a mindful moment with their partner. If you're a mom, have a mindful moment with your kids. They'll love it. They'll start laughing, but they'll enjoy it. But mindfulness will absolutely help you slow down. It will help you position you to hear yourself, to hear maybe some things that you want to say to yourself that you haven't had the opportunity because you haven't slowed down long enough to listen. Next slide, please. I laughed when I even pulled this up myself because we all want everyone else to be mindful when they are driving. I have decided that I'm going to take this slide and post it on a big poster on the 405 because mindful driving is probably the most important thing that everyone needs to hear, experience, and do. Okay, this assignment is for all of you. Take a picture of this, take a screenshot of this so that as we're coming back together because of the pandemic, because traffic is coming back, and people are not feeling as relaxed as they were earlier before the pandemic. Now it's worse. People are impatient, which I don't understand. They've had time to be home. They've been able to relax. They've had fun time to be with their families. You would think that people are more relaxed. Well, that's not the case. So this exercise is for those of you who struggle with driving and screaming at people who are in your way, who are also bad drivers. I understand that. But this will help traffic problems. It will help accidents. It can literally change the nature of our entire lives if we begin to mindfully drive. So try this exercise. Take a picture of it, read it, and when you go home tonight, or if you're working from home, the next time you get in your car, try it. Mindful driving. Next slide, please. Oh, that was the last slide. Wonderful. So I'm going to go into the chat and I'm going to discuss some of the responses and the questions we have here. Someone says, I always have people telling me that I'm so strong that when I finally get the courage to ask for help, they deny me or come up with excuses. But then when they need help, they expect me to help them. I feel like I'm being used by everyone, especially past employers and friends I thought I could count on. Once I lost a job in the entertainment industry, it's like I'm no longer valid. Wow, that is the issue that every strong person that I've ever known, including myself, has struggled with. It's because when you are perceived as strong, they perceive that you don't need help. There's no one on earth, however strong, that doesn't need help at some point in life with something. And what I would say to you is that also sometimes very strong people, we don't ask for help because we're typically accustomed to being the helper. And so I would ask that what you should do is share your vulnerability with anyone who feels that you are so strong that you don't need help. Just gently and lovingly express the fact that I'm really very strong. However, there are times that I need help and I don't want to feel bad about needing that help. And I don't want to feel like my need is not received. Vulnerability and the ability to be vulnerable is a very interesting concept for most people, particularly strong people. But if we're going to thrive and if we're going to have good mental health, it's important that you can feel what you feel and be able to share with others what you feel. Now, you may get responses that are not what you want, but that's okay. What you should know is that you stood up for yourself, you asked for what you wanted, and that should make you feel good about being who you are and about asking for what you want. And then you can always go to somewhere else to find the help that you need. Yes. Okay, we have another question. Fear is my barrier. I work on it daily to move into being more productive and accomplish my short and long-term goals. Okay, that's the question for me. I always say that I was breastfed on fear. My mother was a single parent and she raised all of us children in a very structured, very conservative way. Because when you're a single parent, you need to have control over your children. And so our parent made us fearful. I grew up fearful of everything. I'm surprised I even left the house. But what happened ultimately was I decided that I no longer wanted to live in fear. As a matter of fact, my mother died of cancer at 43 years old. And so for most of my life, I never thought I would live to see 43. There's something about having a parent die young that makes you feel like you won't live past that age. And so what I did is I just started thinking about any time I wanted to dream, any goal that I wanted to achieve, that I would fearfully move into it. I would share with anyone who would ask or who could help me that I was fearful. I asked people to help me move past my fear. I found friends who were less fearful, who were much more able to move through life less fearful. And I just got on their coattails and I asked them to help me to move through my fears. And even today, whenever I'm fearful, I do the same thing. I share what my pain is. I share what my fear is. And I ask someone to help me through that fear. And I hope that has helped you, because so many of us are plagued with fear, and that fear will keep us from living our dreams. It will keep us from being who we were made to be. And it will keep us from giving to the world that which others are needing that you have to give. How are we on time, Danielle? There's a couple of questions in the chat I wanted to.
I think we're good on time. You have about a good 10 minutes. Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thanks. So we do have someone who had some driving issues. They screamed and yelled at somebody in traffic the other day. Here's a good one. Too many things on my to-do list. Welcome to the club. I'm the too many things, too many things to do list queen. I have a long list of things on my list of things to do. And I've read so many different ways of how to really actually go about this. I've read that you can split them up. You can make an A list, a B list, and put the A list, the priorities, and the Bs, the most not so important. Or I've heard just only write the priorities at the top and then put the others at the bottom. And that way, if you don't get to the bottom, you can move those to the next day. None of those works. I think some of us are just intended to put too many things on our plate. But what you need to know is that if there's too much on your plate, figuratively and literally, you're going to be full. So just get in the habit of making a list of only 5 things to do per day. If you finish them, you can add to the list. It's okay. You will be able to feel more relaxed. You'll feel more accomplished because you will be able to get the things done that you put on your list, provided you do the things that you have on that list. The issue sometimes for me too is I'll look at the list and I'll do other things. But that would be my suggestion. Just make a list that has less things on it. Some of these things, you guys, they're very simple, but we all, including myself, if I'm not mindfully looking at my life and thinking about my life, I could be all over the place. And these tools are really intended to help you just get mindful, just make SelfLove, which was what the acronym I created to begin this talk is. Everything should be about loving yourself, even putting less things on your list. The less things you have on your list, the less stressed you'll be. And it's all about taking care of you. The better you take care of you, the better you can take care of your family, your job, your children, your spouses. Taking care of you is the key. So I'm going to answer one more question. And this one says, I currently have a good job where the pay is good, but I'm not personally fulfilled. I'm considering other avenues in the entertainment industry that might come with a pay decrease. I'm trying to figure out the balance between knowing my worth without sacrificing my personal development. Good. Wow. That's one that I think most of us struggle with. But I would say this, your self-worth, You're worth more than anybody can pay you. Let's just be clear about that. There is no amount of money that is more valuable than your self-worth. So that we got that clear, the idea now would be, what feeds my soul? What makes me happy? What would I do if nobody paid me? I've been in the legal field for the last I've been in the legal field for over 40 years, since I was 18 years old. And the thing that's kept me there is that it was my passion. I enjoy working in the legal field. And so I've been able to be there, as well as do other things that you heard on, on when I was introduced, because I've done a lot of things, but I have continued in the legal field. So I would ask you, sit down, get quiet, and feel, what do you want to do when you wake up every day in the morning? How do you want to show up in the world? What is your intention to end up at the end of the day and to be content with the salary that they may give you? Money is not the most important part of your day. Money is a representative of what you're providing someone. And so if you want more money, I would say go after more money if that's important to you. If you want more fulfillment, go after more fulfillment. The key is that you live the life that you want to live by design, not default. Don't end up at a job just because somebody offered it to you. Don't end up in a relationship or a marriage just because they asked you. There are ways to make these types of decisions, but they all start with really knowing who you are, having a real clear picture of what you want your life to look like at the end of your life. Okay, I think we have come to the end of our day, and I am so excited that you guys showed up. I'm really happy that you participated with me, and I just want to leave you with this. What you focus on will guide the direction your life will take. Make sure that your vision is aimed at your purpose. I'm Diane Shorte.
Diane, thank you so much for your presentation. From a personal perspective, this was so helpful. I do want to remind everyone in attendance that it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so I hope that you found this insightful. Thank you for participating, and please remember to visit us at namicsocal.org for more exciting events coming up soon. Thank you.